Welcome back. Welcome back. TOT Star Wars in the Cut. Me and Rob are here together. We're going to be talking about the Acolyte, doing some ratings, talking about some plot points and whatnot. How much of an absolute travesty it was. If you liked it, I'm glad you liked it. I'm jealous you liked it. No shame. I mean, we're just kind of going to spitball here. You want to get us kicked off with a rating?
So you're gonna have me rate first, all right?
I'll rate first. I have no problem rating first.
I mean, yours is definitely gonna be like the ones. I'm gonna give that
No, it's not.
I'll give that a 2.7.
I was higher than that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sitting at around the 4.4
Actually,
range.
I gotta go higher than that. That's just me having a bad taste in my mouth after that last episode. I'll go in the 4 range too. I'm gonna go 4.4.
Okay, did you hear me say 4.4?
You said that?
Okay. Well,
I can't. Well, now I can't.
I'm sitting at a 4.4.
Okay, I'm gonna go 4.5 then.
That's
I'm a little bit better than you.
Rookie score, no 0.5s, no zeros. But at the end of the day, the show is a really cool premise. When it came out like a year or two ago that this was happening, I was super excited for it. I was pretty interested in the Sith's point of view in that time period for sure. I think she kind of got lost in it a little bit with what she was doing. There was too many moving pieces, not enough time, too many flashbacks. There was huge errors made almost intentionally. And before I get like super into detail, I'm going to let you rip. But like my main problem with the show is Leslie injecting her stories into canon in a super aggro way that's really unchill. Meaning like uh, the whole Virgins thing, like with spoiler alert, with Plagueis being in the last episode, like I guarantee you that now, if you read the Darth Plagueis novel, he's the mad scientist. He was extremely meticulous with developing, creating the diode and the Force or whatever it was to create Anakin. They're going to try and change it to where Plagueis studied these two fucking twins who were built from the fucking thread to create Anakin. I guarantee that's down the pipeline. And she's just injecting herself into the story with her own ideas.
Yeah, I mean, to bounce off your point of the too many moving parts, I think that was done on purpose because, like you texted as soon as you finished the finale, was their goal is to have a second season, multiple seasons, probably more than just a second season, because they need time to ruin Yoda's legacy, ruin Plagueis' legacy. Like it's just everything about that was so poorly done. But the only two things I want to give it its flowers first. The two good things about it, what I'm blanking on his name now. The Sith, the Acolyte, Chimere was sick. Just an overall really dope character.
But he was also weird.
I mean, I like that though. I like that he was like strange. He's a weirdo. Like I don't understand like the hand holding at the end where he like grabs her hand. Like it like made it feel like it was
that
like
wasn't
intimate.
the only lightsabers they grabbed that night.
Dude, it just felt so intimate. I'm like, why? Like this went from like I'll go with you to train to like let's hold hands in the final scene. But like I don't know, that felt weird to me too.
What was number two?
The fight scenes. The fight scenes were so sick. Like very well choreographed, and having the Wookiee Jedi fight scene in the second to last episode was so good. Saul was a good character for the most part. The fact that you could tell he didn't speak English sometimes did throw me off a little, but I did like him as a character for sure. But then like just the overall show itself, very generic. Like, what is the plot line of you killed my mom, I'm gonna get revenge? Like, I just want revenge after like a family member's death. And then Chimere didn't really even play much of a part in the overall plot. I mean, I guess that might be something they bring into the second season, but like he was training May, who ditched him and does nothing at the end besides go to jail and get her mind wiped. And then he decides I'll train OSHA, and then it ends. And then like it was, there's zero substance for him, even though he was cool. Like his vibes were great, and he was a cool Sith. Even though they don't want to consider him a Sith.
Great
Is my
actor.
understanding.
He definitely is a Sith, and he says to the Jedi, "You guys would call me a Sith." And technically, everyone who heard him say that or was around that is now dead, and the only person who's not got their mind wiped. So Venestra, who I'm going to get into in a minute, who is actually cool in the High Republic books, is unaware that it was a Sith or a red lightsaber wielder in general. That was never portrayed. So Leslie Headland has covered her in the sense of the Sith weren't technically revealed to the Jedi. But if you have 20 Jedi getting killed by lightsaber, or however many it was, 7 or 8 Jedi, you're going to have to, she's putting it under the guise of it was a rogue Jedi, Chimere, who was allegedly her apprentice. And in the books, she did have an apprentice that went rogue. So I'm sure that is Chimere, and that it would explain them like looking at each other. But how are you going to make Venestra literally Yoda, like the most important character? Everyone comes to her for everything. She's meeting with the Supreme Chancellor at the end, doesn't have to take any information to the High Council. Everything goes through her. That was so stupid. And it's Leslie Headland's wife cutting a paycheck. I told you guys this after week 2. It's a money laundering scheme, the whole show. But what the choreography, I want to stick on that. It was cool. It was well done. I thought the lightsabers weren't edited very well in the final episode, but that's me being nitpicky. That's fine. But you can't give the show any credit for an offshore choreographer, the same guy who did Shang-Chi or whatever, coming in and doing a great job. But that has nothing to do with the show. That's just a good choreographer they hired.
No, yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like the plot was absolute dog, and like I said, like you said, choreography doesn't make the show any better. It makes it easier to watch. Like it was like watching a dumpster fire with like something good happen. I don't even know what happens good at a dumpster fire, but like dumpster fire with a cool like spark in like in between flames. I don't know.
Dumpster fire and a washing
Bad
machine
analogy there, but
blue. No, but the washing machine catches on fire and there's gas left in it and it's blue or whatever. You want to try and run through the whole show real quick? Because once I do this, tell me how confused you are. So there's 2 girls. They're split up at birth. They're actually the same person, but they're not. She's going to kill all these Jedi. Chimere's making her go kill all these Jedi with no lightsaber. She kills all of them. As she's coming up to kill the last one, she goes, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore because I know my sister's alive. Chimere gets pissed at her, lets her go, ends up capturing her sister. Her sister comes back with him. He doesn't kill her sister. He doesn't have any problem with her. Immediately, he wants to fuck her. There's a bunch of weird scenes with his dick out, like in the water. That shit was mad weird. The Jedi on the other end are, I don't know what's going on over there. No one has a clue what's going on over there. Soul's turning off his comm link, turning it back on, turning it off. He's telling them some things. He's not telling them other things. And then in the final episode, he wants to kill May, correct? He gets in front of May and then doesn't want to kill her anymore immediately. That was what I was so confused about. The whole point of him going with her, he goes, not if I get to her first. Like he was trying to kill her, not even knowing that Soul would be. Dude, the whole thing is like, I feel like it was supposed to be longer and maybe they crammed it all in or like something, but like there was just so many loose ends that made no sense. And then she would do these interviews after every episode. Did you see those?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
She was doing these interviews with like these content creators who are kind of in her space, like who are friendly with her or friendly with her friends, or maybe they're other former personal assistants of Harvey Weinstein, like Leslie Headland. But they would ask these softball questions and then she would explain the plot, but it would contradict the actual plot of the show. But it was the story she was trying to tell, like reading between the lines. It was so confusing. If you guys haven't checked, I think there's some Star Wars Theory videos. He's breaking them down, or you can just go right to the source. The whole thing is just an absolute show.
Yeah. That was a lot to break down, but That I mean sums it up. The show just didn't make sense. It had a feeling this whole time like when is the actual point of the show going to come across? Like is the point of the show the twins? Is the point of the show the acolyte? Like what? I still don't know. Like
She's
who's
the
the main?
acolyte.
She's the acolyte.
Osha's the acolyte.
Okay. I mean, then what is Chimere then? Like I think what went wrong and the cool part of the show that they just sprinkled in right at the end was that Chimere was Sinestra's apprentice
Mm-hmm.
or I guess apprentice. I don't know if he was like just a Padawan in her class or something or if apprentice or what, like a rogue apprentice. That is a cool concept. Like, give us that. Give us make that the whole story. Like that would have been so sick. Not these two random twins that no one knows about that just like have internal conflict with each other and can't make up their minds what side they want to be on because they're just flip flopped out of nowhere and now one's mind's wiped, which makes no sense to me. Like, what was the mind wiping at the end? Like, I
It didn't
don't
make.
get.
She could have just went with them.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, like only one can go with. Like one's got to stay. Like what is go like why couldn't both go with? Like
And they go from finally being friends again and find each other, and then she just goes, "Okay, yeah, we'll wipe your mind or wipe your mind. I'll never see you again."
dude,
It was so fucking stupid,
it
dude.
makes no sense at all. I mean, also too, this is one thing I really wanted to say. Like I couldn't put my finger on it for the longest time, and I finally did when I was watching this. Was like, why don't I? Because I can't. I'm like, why don't I actually just like this? Like I like Star Wars. Like it's one thing for the plot to not be great. Like I can get around that because like I do enjoy watching the sequels, which isn't really great plot, but like there's elements to it that I'm like, this is Star Wars and this is still good. Like, what is missing here that like just makes me not like this at all? And I'm like, I just can't believe it's Star Wars. Like, they don't make the actors and actresses don't make you believe it's Star Wars. Like, it's almost like when you watch a play and you're like, this is just so corny. And like they can't make you like when you're watching a play of something that's like actually a movie and you're like, this doesn't feel like the real thing here. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like I'm watching a actual play. Like that's exactly what the whole situation feels like.
It
But
stems from her not caring about canon that takes you out of it so much. Where like these little minute details, like cortosis, the helmet, the material made of Chimere's helmet's made of, or Vanestra having the Sith apprentice, like little stuff from these books, she nails and she gets right. But then the bigger stuff, like first of all, Kiadi Mundui is not even alive during this show. They changed it on Wikipedia to match his actual birthday, but he's not even alive at the time that he's allegedly standing there with other Jedi. He's not born yet. By the way, I don't know if you're hip to this, Rob, because I read the Plagueis book. Plagueis at this time, and granted, it's legends, but with everything we know, could be a maximum of 14 years old. And he's standing there as a full grown man with an apprentice at 14 years old. That makes no fucking so like she doesn't even know anything about these characters, but she knows these little weird, minute details about like specific armors from a book 20 years ago. It's all so fucking weird to me. I
well,
don't understand.
I think that's if I'm getting in her headspace, like my mindset here is I've been ripped to shreds for so long on every single thing I've put my hands on, or like every single project that's been put out since I've started. And it's like always getting ripped apart on like doesn't breaks canon, breaks canon, breaks canon. So it's like she probably literally like opens up a comic, feeds through the pages, and stops on a point and is like, what is something from here I can take? Oh, cortosis, that's barely ever used. I'll throw that in there and it'll make me look smart. Like she's like literally like just jumps to a random spot like of like some comic and like picks out one minor detail that's like nothing crazy and then just like makes that like a part of the show.
I personally am under the impression that she's trolling and it's intentional. Because in the interview after the Kiadi Mundi incident, where they ask her, Are you aware? First of all, he's the one that says the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. And second of all, he's not alive. Not only is he not 30, he's not alive in the scene you have them in. She starts doing this like weird laugh and she's like, I don't know. Why does everyone care about a character's birthday? So I literally think that she's trolling. Like it's intentional, personally.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a big middle finger to everybody because it's technically Legends, so they can change it for canon. So, but whatever. But even the minute details aside, I'm going to make a short on this tomorrow, actually. This just came to my head right now. May says in episode 1, a Jedi doesn't pull their weapon unless prepared to kill. Do you remember that?
yeah.
That is not accurate. Not even close. Jedi are taught to disarm their opponents. There's examples of that. Dooku, who was a Jedi formerly, disarming Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin disarming Dooku on the invisible hand. Obi-Wan disarming the guy in the cantina. Obi-Wan disarming Zam Wessel in the bar in episode 2. There's 9 points of attack that are supposed to be disarmed by a Jedi that's taught. This was in a book a long time ago. I don't know if this is still true. But there's 9 points that are supposed to be disarmed. So Jedi are actually taught to pull their weapons out, not to kill, and to disarm and debilitate their enemy to take them in for fair trial. And then the first episode of this show, I'm going to make a short on this tomorrow. This all just came to my head. The first episode of the show, Jedi don't pull their lightsabers unless prepared to kill. That's actually the opposite, which is why she has to be trolling.
I can
get
on the train of her trolling, but like at the same time, like I just don't think she cares. Like I think it's just like money.
She does.
It's just
care.
money. It's just money grab. Like I don't know. Like we've basically said everything that's wrong with the show. We could go on and on forever.
I could go on for much longer. And again, I want to say I hate being a hater.
Kathleen.
I could go. Well, Kathleen is a whole nother beast, dude.
Are you talking about Leslie's trolling?
Yes.
Oh, I was on the whole page that time that you're talking about Kathleen. Yeah, I mean,
Kathleen just closes her eyes and signs scripts. She doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm with you here, but yeah, Leslie's definitely trolling because she seems like and tries to portray like she's like all knowing of Star Wars. Like I know every single thing about this and all of that. Like
Plagueis is 15, 100 years before episode 1. He's not 40. But again, I don't want to be a hater, and like I like that there's Star Wars coming out, and I think they could do a season 2, different writer, make the plot actually interesting. Focus on Plagueis, focus on Chimera. He's pretty cool. Focus on the Jedi, focus on the Sith, but like, not even to get into dialogue, but like just the writing was so awful.
The point I made earlier about them, it gets like, it's like I'm watching a play. It's like you have to be able to distinguish yourself as like when you're watching it, like these aren't actors and actresses. Like I'm watching Jedi running through a forest, and that's the exact scene I'm thinking of. There's a scene of like all the Jedi like running out to like find May and Osha and Chimera. Like they're like running around because they got that little like weasel like leading the way.
Yeah.
And they look so unathletic. It's just not even funny. I'm like, there's like all Star Wars before, and like I get like you're paid to be an actor and you're paid to be good at acting, but like I can't watch this shit if I'm like seeing like people like the fucking
body
like,
diversity casting.
Yeah, like I need to see some athleticism here. Like it just makes it so non-believable for me, and that's the one thing that like really hurt for me for the show. I mean, they've had bad plots before. I mean, that's really it. Bad plots is just what makes it bad, but like, and ruin canon. But like they just this time where it was like they couldn't even just make me believe we were in the Star Wars universe. So
no immersion.
Yeah, it was just bad overall.
And this is the last thing. I don't want to go too deep in the weeds. And this should be a testament to how bad the show was, that I could probably sit here for 45 more minutes and pick little stuff like this. Go create a perimeter around the castle. We need to find them. You remember this in the last episode? This is one thing. So the fact that a little thing like this, I could pick out 45 other examples just like this. Oh, create a perimeter around the castle or whatever it is. All 20 fat Jedi go to the same place. You know what I'm talking about? When they go to the tree,
Yeah, where they find
they all go to the same place. They all walk together. That's not creating a perimeter.
Yeah,
Little stuff like that.
I don't know. And then like I don't want to get too deep into it, but then like at the end where she was like lying for Saul and all of that in front of like the Senate. And I don't know, that seems stupid to me too, because it just seems like something like Jedi don't do. Like Jedi just don't like when's the last time? I mean, I guess like the Jedi lied to Palpatine, but that's because they were like conspiring against him. Like I don't think they're conspiring against the Senate right now. So like I don't like what like it just like that's just on theme with like they're trying to make the Jedi look bad. But
yeah, very deliberate
I don't
action. She basically cashed a huge paycheck, probably wired herself 100 mil of the 180 mil that the budget was made for. She made her wife the coolest Jedi ever, and they're both probably on a beach somewhere laughing at both of us. So who's the real loser here?
All right, yeah. To end it off, I actually like if someone here wants to defend the show as being good, put it in the comments. We'll get you on an episode. Like I've actually had this on my mind. I want to actually hear someone that has like an argument to like be like this show is good, because we get comments for it all the time. Like you guys just this is just sexism. Like it's not about sexism. It's not about that. Like it's not anything against it. It's just bad Star Wars. So like if you have a good reason that's not that argument, like please hop on. Like I want to, if you can win, you can win. Like if you've good enough argument.
Only one person I've seen who really enjoyed the show, and he just loves Star Wars so much that it blinded his opinion for, and it's happened many, many times, but I respect this guy a lot, Jason from Twin Sons. Jason from Twin Sons, I'd love to have you on here and we could have a little debate.
Good stuff. Peace out, everyone.